It is Ihsahn, and I'm here at Bloodstock 2015. It is hectic, but still enjoyable. And I'm playing quite early, so I'll have the evening to kind of catch up with friends and watch some bands. I started playing piano when I was like 6. Nothing. I never became a good piano player, but you know, and I got my first electric guitar when I was 10. By the time I was pretty much a big Twisted Sister fan, and was totally taken by Iron Maiden, later on. And I guess from there on, I just started playing in bands. So I never really had a choice. It feels like, of course, there's a choice, but I mean, I've been drawn to this since I was a kid. Don't know how to do anything else. I guess if you have a background, listening to more traditional music, I'd say Iron Maiden is very melodic in a very traditional way. So it's kind of easy to crack that code and get a feel for the melodies. They're always in E minor or A minor, and they always harmonize stuff on the major third. So it's kind of theoretically very very simple, but then it's easy to kind of grab hold to. So I think practically I learned playing guitar to playing along to Iron Maiden songs, which I think goes for probably half of the guitar players in the world playing metal. The way things are now with the internet and everything, there's such a big choice in the metal genre that you get really simple stuff and old school stuff to the overly technical stuff. And but from an outsider perspective, I guess there's always that element to it that there's not there's always the slagging off from common people, but that's kind of part of why you're drawn to metal in the first place, isn't it? So if that wasn't there, if it was no rebellion in it, it probably wouldn't have tasted the same. Because I have kids and I have families now. It's really, I start early and go into the studio, start working on my music, and I work from 8 to 4. That may sound a bit metaphysical, but it's kind of, even though I've been doing this for 25 years or so now, it's still it's a point kind of inside and far ahead, that every new song is kind of an attempt to fulfill something. There's a need there that has been constant ever since I started writing music. And that sounds a bit off, I know, but that's kind of, it's very vague, but it's just a driving force that never escapes. It's not like I'm overly productive that I write all the time, but that kind of need is always there. And I try to be flexible, and at least I try to challenge myself to do things in a different way and work with music in different ways to keep that interest and excitement going, because that's when I think that I do my best work, and that's probably how my music hopefully can be worthwhile listening to as well. It's just kind of changing up my routines and how I approach the writing of a new album. So especially since I stopped being in a band and started going solo, for every album that I've done, I've kind of written out almost a framework about the musical concept and the instrumentation I want to use, and to kind of not limit my options, but to kind of focus in on some type of state of mind that I try to keep different for each album. So like my previous album is really far out in my experience, and doing a little more improvised work and different sounds. And I'm working on a new album now that is kind of quite the contrary, like really typical song structure. I grew up in the 80s. I mean, every Maiden song, more or less, apart from each album has a long song that has a bigger section in the middle, but for most part, that's kind of the typical song structure. And I guess over the years I've learned to appreciate the craftsmanship of building songs that actually make sense, because it's typical for extreme metal bands, especially when they're young, to kind of break free from that. It's kind of rebellion from that, and kind of just make songs that are a million different riffs in a row, and it doesn't really compile into one song. So I guess you have to go the long way around to kind of appreciate it. I don't know. I've been there, done that.